Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing this. It's the Xiaomi Mijia 360 pan and tilt wireless home security camera. This review sample was provided free of charge by GearBest. As always, you'll find a link in the video description to buy this on GearBest, and that's an associate link, which means if you buy it that way, I'll get a small commission. If you object to that idea but still want to buy it, just Google it up without using my link. Anyway, let's take a look inside the box. I've been sent the Chinese version of this product, so inside the box we've got the camera itself, a small instruction manual in Chinese, plus a small box of accessories. It consists of a spherical camera unit sitting atop a small pedestal. There are hardly any markings or controls. There's just a small micro USB socket on the back and a reset button. In the accessory pack there's a USB mains adapter. I won't be using that as it's not for my region. A micro USB cable and a plastic mounting base that can be screwed to a wall or ceiling. Okay, now as we go through this video you might notice different light levels. It took me quite a while to get this product configured and working, and so the unboxing and review video has been shot over the course of several days. So it's all pieced together from various different bits of testing and footage, so I hope that's okay. Hopefully you'll still get the content and information that you need despite the patchwork nature of the video itself. So the design of the device is quite cute. It looks like a little robot face or something. The version I've been given unfortunately doesn't have any English instructions. However, Xiaomi's quite good on this. They've got instructions in every language on their website. So I've downloaded a version of the instructions onto my computer and I will see if I can get this set up. To get this going, I'm going to power it via the USB cable from my laptop. But any old spare phone charger I'm sure would do just fine. So it's powered up and there's a little light on the front there. Not really sure what to do next. We'll have to consult the instructions. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, there's some voice instructions on there, but not really sure how to get started. Okay, we're going to have some fun and games with this, no doubt. There's a little reset. I don't know what that's asking me. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, so this is interesting. So there's an app called Mijia, which is downloadable from Xiaomi. Now, in order to use this camera, you have to download this app, or you have to have an account at Xiaomi Mi Home, which I've done. So we're going to add a device. It's found my camera. We now have to scan this QR code with the camera, and I'm assuming that that blue light means it's working okay. I'm going to have to see if I can change the language on this camera. Okay. Okay, so now I think what it's doing is it's setting up this thing so that it's on my wireless network. Okay, I suspect we're probably going to have to do this offline, and I'll come back and tell you all about it in a minute. Okay, so that was interesting. I've managed to get this, I think, connected to my network and added to my Mi Smart Home collection of devices, but I can't seem to connect to it. To get it connected, there were two different methods. One is that you scan the network for it, you find the camera, your phone generates a QR code which you show to the camera, and then the camera is supposed to then connect directly to your Wi-Fi and register itself on Mi Smart Home. That didn't work for me, so the alternative method is to connect your smartphone directly to the camera, and you can push the settings directly to the camera from the phone. That bit seems to have worked because we've got a steady blue light on there now, which means it is connected. And actually when I go to the Mi Smart Home app, I can see the camera there, but tapping on it just doesn't seem to do anything. So, unable to get this working. Okay, so after a lot of false starts, I actually managed to get this thing working. And what I found out was wrong in the end was that I'd set the localization in the Mi Home app to, well, the closest language I could find, which was English United States. Now, the problem with that, I think, is it was just not, this device is not configured for that region. This, the default is China. This is where this came from. And so when I tried again, well, I tried lots and lots of times to add it to the app, and it just didn't work. So when I tried again and I reconfigured the app for China, it set itself up almost immediately. And in fact, the app is completely different. I get a completely different front end for the app, and it just works anyway. So if we have a look now, I'll just connect to this camera. I'll turn it around over there so we can actually see something that we're pointing at. So we've connected to the camera. I'm going to have to apologise for the white balance things that are happening on the camera here. The camera filming this is getting confused between the ambient lighting, which is compact fluorescent, and the OLED screen of the phone here. So ignore the weird colours. This does actually look a bit more normal in real life than it does on screen here. So you can swipe to move the camera and look around and up and down, which is kind of cool. Let's talk about the features that this camera supports. So we'll just connect to it in the app. Oh, it's wanting firmware updates, but I'm not going to do that right now. So there we go. The app is actually, the camera's pointing at me. Well, there's weird, isn't it? So we can see the back of the phone. But let's just have a look. So we can turn on the sound so that the sound, a bit difficult to tell actually here, but the sound that's being picked up by the camera is played back through the app. We can send audio to the device. We press and hold this button here, and we can speak into the microphone, and that will be played out on the device. Let's just give that a try. This is a test. Bit of feedback there, obviously, because I'm in the same room. Will you be quiet, dog? And of course, you can use the app to move the camera around in quite fine increments, actually. You can just move it a little bit if you want to. It doesn't always react. There we go. Okay. It also has, which we'll see if we move back the other way, it also has a ring of infrared illuminator LEDs around that lens there. So we'll give that a test when it gets dark tonight. We'll just have a quick look at image quality here. So we can pinch zoom, we can move the camera around, we can pinch zoom to have a look at detail. I think that's doing digital zoom when I pinch zoom there. And we've got some sort of, don't really even know what that is. There's a time bar there. I don't know if that's anything to do with the motion detection function it's got. As I say, I haven't got a full manual for this, so I don't actually know what all the features are. Anyway, we'll test it when it gets dark. We'll test out the night vision function. So this is the last little bit of testing we're going to do here. I've got the camera set up there in the middle of that wall. I'm going to turn the lights off in this room, and then we're going to see what we can see using the night vision function. Now we are connected to the app. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got, we've got good visibility there. Some of that light is coming from the spillage out of this room, but we can see, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn this light off as well. Okay, so that's now completely dark in that room, and yet, yeah, that night vision, do you know what, that's not bad. That's actually able to illuminate the whole room. I think I might have mounted it a little bit too high up to be able to see down and around the place, but there you go, that's, and that's me sitting here in the dark. Filming me sitting in the dark. So not brilliantly clear. Let's wave to the camera. Not bad, considering that that's illuminating from maybe 3 or 4 meters away. So we set this up in the living room, and we'll have a look and see what the results are like when we use it in the living room. So there it is. We got it all set up okay, but there is a bit of a problem with having this thing in the house. And it's all to do with this young. She's not very impressed with it, I've got to say. What is it, Eva? Go and have a look. Go on. What's the matter? So, although this is a interesting and potentially quite useful device, it does look like I'm going to have a bit of trouble getting the dog to trust it, which could defeat the object of having it in the first place. So that's the Xiaomi Mijia 360 pan and tilt home security camera. Quite an interesting device. I think it's a lot of fun actually. The little turning robot head type of thing is actually really kind of cute. It's a highly functional device. It's a faff to set up. I think a lot of people might have actually given up before they got to the point where I got to. If you don't know how to overcome that regional problem, I can see a lot of people just giving up and throwing their hands up in despair and saying, well, this is not ever going to work. So that was a bit of a drawback really. The setup just is harder than it needs to be. I'm not really sure why they have lots of different versions of the app, but you have to actually sign right out, change to the region which the thing was supplied as, which is kind of weird, and then it works. Probably the biggest drawback about this is that you have to rely on Xiaomi's server for it to work. You can't connect directly to the, it's not like a little web server built into this thing. This thing streams the video via Xiaomi's services. So if at some point Xiaomi decides they're not going to support this device anymore, it's just going to go dead. And that's something you need to consider when buying this. There are other devices like this where it sets up its own little web server, probably a little bit more difficult to set up, and sometimes they won't work on some people's home internet because of ports that are closed and so on. But those things are a bit more future-proof than maybe this could turn out to be. So that's something to consider, is do you trust the future-proofing of Xiaomi's services, or are you going to end up with a device that's just gone dead and you can't connect to it at some point in the future? Don't know, but it's just a risk to think about. So I'm probably not going to keep this because the dog doesn't get on with it, but it's an interesting device, and for what it does it actually rather well once you get it connected. So I hope that's been useful. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.